shloka is that uh, Arjuna says that you have told me so many things. Mat anugrahaya paramanguhyam adhyatma samnitam yat tvayoktam vajastena mohoyam vigato mama. My moha has disappeared because you have told me the so-called, you can use that word, so-called adhyatma. Adhi plus atman is adhyatma. Adhi means above, and atma is self. So above the self, self here refers to the individual. We should take it as a small s. So above an individual thinking, that is adhyatma. So when you go beyond yourself, that the knowledge which gives you the ability to go beyond your self thinking, that is adhyatma. And only when we start thinking beyond ourself, that means this self, lower self, self-centeredness, then that leads to higher thinking, the higher atman or the superconscious. And obviously that time the moha goes, because until now, as long as we think of ourselves, we feel that there is no clarity in whatever we discuss, because it will be totally selfish. So when we go beyond that, then our thinking also becomes clear, our ignorance disappears, and the highest point is reached when we realize that this worldly thing is God's maya. It is his creation, but it is not the truth. We are supposed to go beyond, and he is beyond that. Sachidananda is beyond that. And the truth in everything that is manifested, the core, is that consciousness. What is appearing is only an external appearance. We have to go within the core of everything, whatever is manifested. That is understood. And so it implies that Arjuna now understood, that he realizes that it is your Krishna, your manifestation. You are there everywhere. And you and I are not different. It is the same consciousness which is within me and you. So that's, he says that. Next shloka. Bhavapyayau hi bhutanam shrutau vistarasho maya tvatta kamalapatraksha mahatmyam api chavyayam. So he says, bhava api bhava and apyaya. That means the origin. Bhava means origin, and apyaya means dissolution. From yourself, O lotus-eyed one, Kamala Patraksha, I have heard the length of origin and dissolution of beings, as well as your inexhaustible greatness. Mahatmyam api cha avyayam. Bhava api hi bhutanam. I have heard about the origin and dissolution of beings in detail. Vistarasho maya. Tvattaha, from you, and I have also heard your inexhaustible greatness. So this we know. I will not go into much detail. That means Arjuna is summarizing whatever he has heard. So this also shows his attentiveness, how much attentive he is, because he is a very perfect student to understand Krishna's teachings, and that is what Krishna wants ideally, because only when such a person is there to listen, his words will make some sense. And because of this conversation, look at the great scripture we have today. If Arjuna had not been a devoted student, then Krishna would never have told, because n number of times during the entire Gita it says, only it is for people who have faith in my teachings. It's not for people who are envious of me. Envious means, because even during his time, there were so many people who were against him. His own next generation have spoken such bad things about him. You will come to know when you read Bhagavad Puran. They have spoken lot of, they have criticized him. They have abused him. They have spoken all kinds of nonsense things. In fact, the minute he finishes, he's about to end his life, that time people would have started his own dynasty people, Yadavas. They would have they would have started speaking good about Kauravas, and they had started criticizing Pandavas and Krishna's this thing. Though Bhagavad Gita today, till soon after that, and even today and generations to come, Bhagavad Gita will be a great scripture worldwide. So, but his own people had lot of disregard for that. So he says it should not be told to people who are envious of me. On the contrary, Arjuna had lot of regards. So he's summarizing, and he says that I have heard so much about the origin, creation, and he has told about that, and dissolution of beings, and your inexhaustible greatness. Now he says, Evam etat yata tattvam atmanam parameshwara drashtumichhami te rupam aishwaram purushottama. So now comes Arjuna's one more query. After understanding, he says, so it is. I am satisfied. Evam etat yathat tattvam. You have yathattatvam atmanam parameshwara. You have declared, so it is, O Supreme Lord. You have declared yourself as Parameshwar, atmanam parameshwara. However, I desire to see your Ishvara form. You said you are there everywhere. You are all pervading. No doubt I understood that. But now, he says, Supreme Person, Purushottama, I would like to see you in this form. So Arjuna is expressing his desire to go one step further. To see is to believe, isn't it? He has a lot of faith. Here it doesn't mean that he is asking him because he doesn't believe him. No, it's not like that. But he wants to take one step ahead and experience that all pervading Ishvara. How does it look like? Can you demonstrate? It is kind of science experimenting, isn't it? We experiment and we prove. So here also he wants to show, and this probably is God's will. God's will that he has made Arjuna ask so that it gets documented. Somebody is documenting. Who is observing? Sanjay is observing. Vyasa is documented. So he says, let me see your Swarupa. You have told you are pervading in each and everything. Can you please show that to me? He is requesting him. So now look at the this one here, in the entire avatar, incarnation, Krishna's avatar, many people believed that he was the Vishnu, Mahavishnu, or Parabrahman incarnation. Some few people believed. Few people saw him, but still not all were devoted to him. They were just next to him. They were living with him. They were playing with him. They were interacting with him on a daily basis. But only 3 or 4 instances he has shown. This is one of the instances during Krishna's lifespan that he has shown his true nature. But maximum is this Vishwaroop Darshan. So he says, I want. So there are different instances. One is when actually Shishupala, when Shishupala is one of the where all Krishna has shown Vishwarupa, his true form. Vishwarupa is also his true identity. So when once Shishupala is his cousin brother. We have discussed this. Shishupala is a cousin brother, and he was a malformed child. When he was born, he had 4 arms and 3 eyes. And at that time, his parents were very anxious, and they approach one saint and they say, don't worry, he will become normal by a person when he sits on his lap. However, the same person will be killing him. As soon as he becomes normal, he is going to kill him. That is what will be the forecast by some astrologer. But don't worry. And so, but Shishupala will be a very spoiled brat. He always arrogant, and he speaks all bad words, and with disrespect. He doesn't behave properly. That would be his reputation. Sometime once when Yudhishthira does not Ashwamedha, Rajasuya Yajna. That time Krishna is there, Bhishma is there, everybody is there, and Shishupala comes there with his parents, and his mother, she requests Krishna to, she knows Krishna is some super conscious and all. She puts him, he calls him and he sits on his lap. The minute he sits on his lap, he becomes normal. Immediately his mother gets alarmed, alerted. She now knows that it's Krishna who's going to kill him one way or the other. So she says, Krishna, please don't kill him, because this is what I have learned, that whoever makes him normal will be killing him. So she requests Krishna. Krishna says, all right, I will, you excuse him. He has not been good to people. So I will have to kill him. So she says, excuse him and don't kill him. He says, okay, I will give him 100 chances of 100 chances where he can speak wrong thing, bad things. 100th time I'm going to take his life. So she says okay, because she thinks that that day will not come, or it may be far off, far away. So she allows him. But this fellow, during that time only, he will be grown up fellow, grown up, maybe in his adulthood or this thing. He starts insulting Bhishma, Krishna, everybody. God knows he's jealous of these people, so he keeps on telling, and then all 100 times he will speak in that particular function, in that place only. When it is 100th time, then Krishna uses his Sudarshan chakra and he cuts, he beheads him actually. So that otherwise Krishna is without any Sudarshan chakra and all, no? Nobody knows. I mean, ordinary man would not have known. But that is when he uses his extraordinary divine power, using that Sudarshan chakra, he beheads people who had faith about Krishna, about his incarnation, who had some clue. They will appreciate that he is not an ordinary person. So that time, if people were really, evolved towards spirituality, they would have got a glimpse of the great Mahavishnu as Sri Krishna. But not all would have seen that. That is one. And that was first time. And another instance is Akrura. That is after the Mahabharata, Kurukshetra Yuddha and battle and all that. Then there's one person called Akrura. Akrura is his maternal uncle. He also was his devotee. Somehow he knew that Krishna is an incarnation and he knew everything, and he used to always be, at his service, though he's his senior person, maternal uncle. And he is very much close to Kamsa also. He was working there. But Krishna, he is devoted to Krishna. So when Kamsa sends word to Krishna and Balarama this is before Kurukshetra. Kamsa sends word to these two people. Tells Akrura, go and bring Krishna Balarama. There is some bow ceremony, some function. Through that, he wants to kill Krishna, because by then he would have come to know that he is the one who is his enemy, true enemy. So Akrura becomes very happy. He just goes there, he brings them, and on the way there is a Yamuna. So there he just goes and they refresh themselves. And Krishna and Balarama go and sit in the chariot. And as Akrura comes from the Yamuna river, he comes and he sees Krishna, smiles and shows him his real Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, and he shows his Rupa, he shows his divine expression as Mahavishnu. So he feels so blessed. He just prostrates. He thinks this is a hallucination. He goes back and takes a dip again. Again, he comes back and gets complete darshan of Sri Krishna as Mahavishnu. Then he is clear now. That was one. Third time is when Yashoda also, when Krishna is very small, he's a very small child, he keeps eating mud. So she punishes him. He says, you are eating mud, you should not do that. Mud and also he steals butter, isn't it? So, but that time he would have just put some very small child, he's a baby crawling here and there. Don't eat mud, she says. Then she says, show me your mouth. When he opens his mouth, she sees the entire universe in his mouth, and she faints actually. So Krishna has shown, because Yashoda is, of course, Vasu who is reborn, and she had the desire to spend a lot of time with Mahavishnu. She would have taken birth with that intention, Therefore, it was his duty to show all his childhood, pastime, I mean, childhood games and all that, Leela, and also to show her that he is Mahavishnu. Now, this is the fourth time, says this commentary by Swami Ranganathanandaji and Bhagavad Puran also. And I believe once even Dhritarashtra has seen, but that is not very well documented, I think. So far, I have not come across. So now Arjuna is asking, and Krishna obliges. He says, Arjuna says that, please show me your Vishwaroop, your true, he will not say Vishwaroop, he says your Vibhuti is whatever you mentioned, you said you pervade everything, and I believe that, and I truly believe, and because I trust you so much, Krishna, but please demonstrate that so that I will be very happy. And so far you have been so compassionate. Please fulfill this desire of mine also. Then he says, Manyase yadi tachakyam maya drashtumiti prabho yogeshwara tato me tvam darshayatmanam avyayam. So he says, Manyase, O Lord, if you think that yadi tat shakyam, is it possible that I can see? Tat shakyam is it possible? That means, am I, here it says, am I eligible? If it is possible for me to see, if it's possible for me, for a small person like me, to see your divine manifestation in this universe, because he's seeing him as a Krishna and he knows he's the super consciousness, but he wants to see him as the universal manifestation, whatever he has described in the just previous chapter. Vibhuti Yoga, he says, I'm here, I'm there, I'm there, I'm in Characharam, I'm there in the moving and unmoving and living and non-living, every small particle I'm there. So can I see that? And if so, do you think, if you feel I am eligible, if you think me as capable of seeing it, if I am fit for it, then Yogeshwara, O Master of Yoga. So that is the title he has given. So he says, Tato me tvam darshayatmanam avyayam. Then show me your immutable, avyayam, immutable self, indestructible self, indestructible Atman. Can you please show that to me, O Yogeshwara? So this word is very, very useful, powerful. Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara means, it means that he is the only one in the entire existence. He is the only one who is capable of transforming into many, one into many, many into one. That is because of his yoga maya, and that is his yogic power. While we use the word yoga to be in connect with him, yunjati iti yoga, they say, we are attached, we are connected to him. That connection defines yoga, and through many ways, karma yoga, jnana yoga, ultimately it is binding of us to him. However, having said that, for him as Yogeshwara, what is his yoga? His yoga maya, his power of his yoga, yoga mahesh Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara means he's capable of manifesting from one to many and many to one. That means all the beings are into him, and and on the other hand, he also diversifies himself into multiple things, living, non-living, everything. So that is only, the power is only in him. Therefore, he is called as Yogeshwara. So now, Arjuna, Arjuna asks to request him to demonstrate that Avyaya Rupa, immutable self, and as Yogeshwara. And so all this is, it's a very interesting, because very few actually will want to see. Very few will want to see. Very few will get his grace. In fact, Sri Ramakrishna says that there are so many people who may be bhaktas. Actually, if you see general population, there are very few. But let's assume there are so many bhaktas. Very few will get his divine grace. has darshan. Very few will get darshan. He was one of them. Of course, he was Avatar Purush, but he has demonstrated that constant longing should be there. Arjuna was defined by Krishna as the most eligible student, and there is a statement, last statement in Bhagavad Gita, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Tatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shrihi Vijayor Dhruva, Vijayoho Dhruva, Tatha Nitir Matir Mama. So he says that wherever there is one entity called Krishna, wherever there is another entity called Arjuna, there this kind of conversations will happen, and there is always Shri, that means prosperity, and Vijaya, victory. Prosperity and victory. That prosperity could be considered as anything. Either it could be material prosperity, or prosperity of knowledge, or prosperity of happiness, whatever you call it. So that Shri and Vijaya. Generally, it is considered as, prosperity means health, wealth, happiness, everything. And victory, winning. So these two should be there. That means there should be Krishna. There is no other person there is none other than Krishna. Krishna is only one. But someone like Arjuna, there Arjuna represents all of us, like whoever has that much of yearning, that much of longing to see him, to experience. So that this combination actually results in this kind of discussion. So Yogeshwara Krishna, that this is a statement given by sage Vedavyasa in the end of Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna also has, Krishna's words only, because he says, this is what I feel. Krishna says, this is what I feel. So now in this, Arjuna has addressed him as Yogeshwara, and he requests him, and he says, if you feel eligible. So most humility personified is Arjuna. Humility personified is Arjuna, and his longingness, and not that he was a dumb fellow. He was a highly intelligent fellow. Therefore, he is able to reproduce whatever he told. Therefore, he is able to assimilate, understand, assimilate, reproduce, and wants to move further. Look at that. So, such a great quality of a student. Then Bhagavan says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Pashya me Partha Rupani Shatashotha Sahasrashaha Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varnakritini Cha Pashyadityan Vasun Rudran Ashvinau Marutastatha Bahunyadrishtapurvani Pashya Ascharyaani Bharata Ihaikastham Jagat Kritsnam Pashyadya Sacharacharam Mama Dehe Gudakesha Yachanyatrashtumichasi. So he says, Krishna agrees. Why does he agree? As we said, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Tatra Partho Dhanurdharaha. So the combination is complementing each other, and it had to set standard, or it had to set, I should say, the path for all of us. It had to show us something for so many generations to come. Therefore, Krishna agrees, and then he says, Arjuna, now look, son of Partha, there are hundreds. Pashya, look here, me Partha, behold, Pashya Partha Rupani Shatashotha Sahasrashaha. Nana Vidhani Divyani, Nana Varna Akriti Nicha. That means hundreds and thousands. He says, behold, see, hundreds and thousands different forms of celestial beings in me. There are so many different forms. They are all in me. Of different colors. Nana Varnani means different colors. Divine or celestial beings, Nana Varnani, of different shapes. It could be people, things, anything. So therefore he says, look, behold, look at me. Now you will start seeing. What will you see? thousands, hundreds and thousands of celestial beings, divine beings of different colors, of different forms, of different shapes. You can see them. And so he starts giving a preamble to what is going to be demonstrated after this. And look, Pashya Adityan. So many Adityas. In Vibhuti Yoga, if you remember, among the Adityas, he says, I am the Surya, isn't it? Surya, no? Yeah, he says that. So he says, so many Adityas. In Vibhuti, he says, I am the maximum manifestation is in this. Maximum manifestation is like that. He keeps telling. Now he's saying, look at all the Adityas in me. So while on one hand he says maximum expression is there, at the same time he's saying the rest of them, everybody is there in me. So look at all the Adityas, all the Vasus. If you remember, these are all creations of Brahma to perform various activities in the creation. Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, and Ashwins and Maruts. Maruts means winds. 49 types of winds, we said, were born to that lady, you know. So Aditi's children, Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwins, Maruts. All these are all divine people, isn't it? Celestial beings. So look at them and see Bahuni Adrushta Purvani. We have never seen certain things before. Ashcharyani Bharata. See all these wonders that you have never seen before. Who would have seen? Arjuna was like us. Who would have seen all Deva Devatas, Adityas, just roaming around in the thing? People do see. Who are those people? Those who have attained Samadhi Sthiti. They can visualize everything, because similar to what Arjuna is seeing now, if we have to experience, the commentators say, we need to go in deep Samadhi. When we become one with that consciousness, then where is the question? We are the creators, so we obviously see all those people, we experience them, so we become the creators because we are one with the consciousness. Otherwise, an ordinary person, it is wonder, how can he see? So Krishna is addressing Arjuna that you see all these Adityas, because Arjuna has not yet attained that Samadhi, but he is eligible to see. Krishna considers him as the most eligible person to see his Divya Rupa. So he says, look at these Adityas, Rudras, you will see them. Adityas, Rudras, Ashwins, Maruts, all those. They are all the composition of this universe actually. You can call them as Deva Devatas, but they exist in a subtle form in the existence, in the universe. They are all part of the new universe, performing various functions outside and within our body also. So that he says, Ihaikastham jagat kritsam pashyadya sacharacharam mamadehe gudakesha yaccha anyad drashtum ichhasi. So he says, see now the whole universe centered in one, in this mamadehe. Gudakesha means he's addressing Arjuna. Gudakesha is one who has conquered sleep, and Arjuna could work days together without sleeping. So it's considered as Gudakesha. So iha ekastham, you see in this body of mine the whole universe centered, including Pashya Adya. Now, see now in this body of mine centered, Characharam, moving and non-moving. What are the non-moving? Obviously non-living things. They say moving are living beings, non-moving are non-living things. So look at this, including moving and non-moving, and all else that you desire to see. Whatever you want to see, you will see that in me now. So how he is giving this introduction, background. Arjuna, now what all you will see? You will see various celestial beings, various shapes, hundreds of them, thousands of them, maybe infinite, and of various shapes. All the shapes, whichever you can imagine, you will see. Of all colors, whichever color combinations you want to see, you will see in me. You can see the Adityas, Vasus, and all that, apart from all the human beings. And you will also see everything in this body, moving and non-moving, living and non-living. Everything is in me. So he is now going to, actually, he gives this background, introduction, build-up he will give, and then he says, this is very beautiful. न तु मां शक्यसे द्रष्टुं अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्य मे yogameshwaram. So he says, of course, Arjuna, you cannot see me. Natu mam shakyase drashtum. You cannot, it's not possible for you to see with your eyes. That means these fleshy eyes of yours, they will not be able to see whatever I have spoken now. Therefore, I will give you divyam dadami te chakshu. I will give you the divine sight, divya chakshu. Chakshu means eyes. Okay, he says swachakshusha. With your own eyes, you cannot see, but divya chakshu I will give you. I will give you the divine sight. And pashyame yogam aishwaram, supreme yoga power. Yogam aishwaram means uh, supreme power of yoga. That's what it is. No, we said, what is his yogic power? He can be one diversified into so many, and all of them will be centered in him. That is the definition or description of Yogeshwara or Yogam Aishwaram, power of yoga. So he is the head of that. Ishwara, Yoga, Yogeshwara is. So he says, you cannot see me with your ordinary eyes. You need the divine, which I am going to give. So, as I said, Arjuna was eligible, and the two were actually destined. This the combination was destined because they are considered to be Nara Narayana. For others, we must have to develop that we also can see. Can we see that? No, we cannot see it normally. We will not be able to, we will not have the divine power to see this manifestation. For that, we must do lot of penance, tapas, bhakti, surrender. All those spiritual practices will enable us to see. Actually, that means just like Bhakta Prahlada Sir, just like Dhruva Sir. So these people, in other words, how did they get the divine sight? By their power of yoga. They did so much of yogic practices, so much of determination, that they never had any other ambition in life than to see God. That may be a little far off goal for us, but we can follow the steps that lead to that goal. Maybe baby step, one step at a time. And one day we will reach the stage where we also get this divine power, that is ultimate samadhi sthiti. So he says, I will give. Now, next is Sanjaya says, Sanjaya uvacha eva mukta tato rajan महायोगेश्वरो हरिः दर्शयामास पार्थाय paramam रूपमैश्वरम्. So, अनेकवक्त्रनयनम् अनेकाद्भुतदर्शनम् अनेकदिव्याभरणम् दिव्यानेकोद्यतायुधम् दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरम् दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनम् सर्वाश्चर्यमयं देवम् अनन्तं विश्वतोमुखम् दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेत्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मनः. Now, Sanjaya Uvacha. Who is this Sanjaya? Sanjaya is a courtier in Dhritarashtra's palace in the Kaurava kingdom, and he is narrating the entire proceedings of Kurukshetra, whatever is happening in the battlefield, to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is blind, we all know that. So, Sanjaya is given this divine Divya Chakshu, just like Krishna gives this divine sight to Arjuna. Sanjaya is given this divine sight by Vedavyasa. So, because Dhritarashtra expresses his desire, as he cannot go and visit, he cannot sit there. So, Vyasa gives Sanjaya the divine sight, based on which he is going to see. So there are only two persons who have seen as per this. One is Arjuna, another one is Sanjaya, and Sanjaya is narrating, and that has been recorded by sage Vedavyasa. So Sanjaya says to Dhritarashtra, having spoken thus, the entire Bhagavad Gita is narrated by Sanjay only, through Dhritarashtra. He is only telling, Arjuna says this, then Krishna has told this, Arjuna has told this. So it's a conversation between these two. In between, Sanjaya gives his own description. So now he says, now Krishna tells Arjuna that I will give you the divine sight. With that, you can appreciate whatever is happening. It is just like our 3D glasses, no, we see for 3D movies, isn't it? They give us those specs and then we see everything. So similar to that, he gives this one. If you can see those 3D movies without the specs, it will be totally hazy. So here nothing will be seen. Here also nothing will be seen without the divine sight. So Sanjaya is telling, O King Dhritarashtra, having spoken thus, Hari is who? Krishna, the great Lord of Yoga, showed Mahayogeshwaro, again Yogeshwara. Everywhere Yogeshwara, it is coming several times. That only means one into many and many into one. So because of his Yoga Maya, and only he can do that. None else in this entire creation. This we must remember, and I will keep repeating because in this chapter it comes more often. So Hari, the great Lord of Yoga, showed unto this Parthaya, son of Pritha. Partha is name of Arjuna, his supreme Ishvara form. Having spoken thus, Sanjaya tells Dhritarashtra, O king, he tells like this, and now look, he's showing, it's a live commentary. Now he is showing the Ishvara, he is showing his true form. Aneka Vaktra Nayanam, he has got numerous mouths and eyes. Numerous mouths and eyes. See, we can comprehend Krishna or Parabrahma as one. That means that is the Chetana behind my mouth, your mouth, his eyes, her eyes, everything. But here, Krishna wants for a Bhakta. Bhakta wants to see in his personal form. So when he wants to show as a personal form, with hands, legs, just like us, he wants to show that everybody's mouths, eyes are with me. Every individual. So you cannot count literally. You cannot count. Whoever is there on this planet Earth, all those are being shown. They are there in his body. He's showing, look, they're all here. Adya, he says, no, in this previous shloka, he says, Ihaikastham jagat pashya adya sacharacharam. Now, in this body, you are going to see everyone and everything, and whatever you desire to see, everything is there. Look, because of that, I mean, as per that statement, he now demonstrates that there are so many aneka vaktrayanam, infinite mouths, infinite, that means huge. It is so huge, it has occupied the entire space. Whatever we see, the open space, Aneka Vaktra, Vaktra means mouth, Aneka Nayanam, Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, says numerous wondrous sights. Those sights are, you just cannot imagine. Can you imagine some person sitting there hanging here somewhere and eating or drinking or doing whatever? Aneka Divya Bharanam. So many mouths, so many eyes, so many wonderful sights, so many jewels, ornaments, whatever is there in this universe, everything we can see there. Mine, yours, hers, everybody's. It has gone and it has occupied that universal form. And Divya Divyanekodya Tayudham, celestial weapons, not only jewels, mouths, ears, so many other sides, jewels and weapons, so many weapons, because they are weapons, because Arjuna has to see, he's a Kshatriya. He cannot see only ornaments, jewelry, saris, blouse and all, he cannot see. So weapons he shows, so many weapons, innumerable. Name it, not only numbers, the types also, because he has shown Aneka Rupani, Aneka Varnani, he says. So many shapes, Yaudu, you name it and it is there. Name it and it is there, and you may not even name it because you may not even know what so many things exist, because our knowledge is limited, isn't it? Our knowledge is limited, and therefore we may not even know that there are so many other things. Okay, so like that, Sanjaya is saying, now he's showing, and this is now seen by Arjuna because now he has got Divya Chakshu. So Aneka Vaktra Nayanam, Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, Aneka Divyabharanam, Aneka Ayudham, Aneka Anekodyata Yudham. So there's so many weapons are seen there. Not only that, he says Divya Malyambaradharam. Divya Mala. Mala means garlands, which are divine. Divine means what? We don't know. I and you don't know. I can only imagine. Celestial garlands. Maybe they are huge flowers. Maybe they are of different colors which we cannot even think of. And maybe they have that fragrance which we cannot comprehend. So there is a Divya Malyambaradaram. Divya Gandhanulepanam. Gandhanulepanam means he has applied divine perfumes. So what perfumes we have? We whatever humans have synthesized, have produced. There are so many body lotions and deodorants and scents and all that. But that is divine. Gandhanulepanam. That means we have derived this from gods and goddesses only. So it appears that he has applied some divine, lotion, and and also perfumes. I don't know why they have you. Gandha is application. Gandha means normally we call it as sandalwood paste, but it is not as simple as that. It is divine Gandha and divine Malambaradharam. Malyambaradha. So many malas, so many, because so many bodies, so many eyes, so many mouths, so many bodies, so many weapons, infinite. Sarvashcharya Mayam Devam. All wonderful Deva, Anantam, Vishwatomukam. Anantam means you cannot, there is no Anta, there is no end. I am not able to see the end of this. He appears infinite in his uh, body also. I'm not able to see the end. Anantam means no end, no Anta. Full, endless body, endless form, with so many things. How beautifully they have described. Vishwatomukam. He can see everywhere. 360 degrees is his vision. 360 degrees. Vishwatomukam. That is what is the description, because God is present everywhere and he can see everything because he's always there and he's observing everything. Whatever we do is being observed, is being documented by the cosmos, by the universe, by the consciousness. He is the eternal observer, we say. More, scientifically, when we say is eternal observer. Now he is showing that in form, in a 3D form, actually, because a true devotee, as we discussed, the commentators say, a bhakta wants a form on which with whom he develops a connection, whom he can retain in his memory, and whom he thinks is a close friend, or he has so many types of relationship with, by which he connects himself, son or daughter or a lover or a father, mother, any of them. But for that, there should be a form. Now, what is this form he is showing? He is showing an extraordinary, the vibhuti is, over manifested. That vibhuti was showing here and the glimpses he showed. Now he is actually showing, this is how I am. So, Malyam Paradaram, Divya Gandhanulepanam, Ascharyamayam Devam, Anantam, Vishwatomukham. So his eyes are there. Everywhere you can see him. And he is seeing every Vishwatomukham. His faces are there all over, all around, 360 degrees. Then Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhave Yuga Paduttita. If this and Yadi Bhaha Sadrushi Sasyat Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha. What is bhasa means, where it appears, it is felt that as though that if the splendor of thousands of suns were to rise up simultaneously in the sky, when one sun rises in the sky, we get so much of brightness. The entire earth becomes so beautiful, so bright, and it is difficult for us to look up to sun, because it will be so much we cannot, the vision will not be there, we cannot see that. So if the splendor of thousands of suns were rise up simultaneously, that would be like the splendor of that mighty being. So it's appearing, King Sanjay is saying, as though thousands of suns suddenly have appeared in the sky. You imagine what could be the brightness. Will we be able to tolerate? But we can, because Mahatmanaha, it is not disturbing. If there are thousands of suns scorching heat and light, we cannot even open our eyes. You look up to look up, and many times as children we open up and try to see the sun with our open eyes. Will we be able to see? No, the brightness will start pricking. So, but it appears like that, but it is so pleasant. It is so pleasant, as though thousands of suns are there, but it is not disturbing, because sun, after all, is not the universe. It is manifestation. He is not. He may be one vibhuti, but he is not the consciousness. But when this consciousness appears, the brightness appears in a very pleasant way. Very pleasant way. Actually, commentators here also, and even Swami Ranganathananji says this was exactly the statement which it seems Oppenheimer, the physicist who actually produced a nuclear bomb during Second World War, when first it was exploded in the USA, he was an ardent Gita follower, it seems, Oppenheimer, the American physicist. So he has told this, it seems, it appeared like this, exactly like this shloka, and it seems he has mentioned that shloka also. Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhavet Yuga Paduthita Yadi Bhaha Sadrushi Sa Syat Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha, like thousands of suns adoring this entire universe. If you see them, what will be the view? What will be the sight? It is similar to that, and the Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra. Then he says, Tatraikastham Jagatkrutsnam Pravibhaktam Anekadha Apashya Devadevasya Sharire Pandavastada. There now Sanjay is narrating. In the body of, otherwise who will narrate? Because we have documentation not from Arjuna, it is somebody else, isn't it? So in the body of God of gods is Krishna. The son of Pandu then saw the whole universe resting in one with its manifold divisions. Apashya Deva Devasya Sharire Tatraikastham Jagat Krishnam Pravibhaktam Anekadha. In a single spot, he saw God divided into multiple manifestations. Arjuna is sitting here, he is seeing entire world. So the world is also there, but Krishna is giving him that Rupa Darshana. Imagine what lucky or fortunate or a blessed person is Arjuna. He's saying that one person divided into multiple manifestations of what? Of this universe, living, non-living, kings, queens, all those. So all those he sees one single reality divided into infinite manifestations. This itself is a validation for whatever Krishna has told in all these chapters. So Krishna has gone out of the way to demonstrate that it's not just a statement I'm making. I will prove it and I will show it what I am, so that we all can believe him. Then Tatasa Vismaya Vishto Rishtaroma Dhananjaya Pranamya Shirasa Devam Kritanjalihi Abhashata. Then when Arjuna sees this, so many things, just whatever he had told, I am there in every manifestation and all beings are there in me. So that he has demonstrated. So Dhananjaya, that means Arjuna, filled with wonder, with his hair standing up. That means literally when we get goosebumps. So he's like that. He's so astonished, unable to believe, unable to accept, but cannot resist, because right in front of his eyes, Krishna is showing his huge manifestation, huge and infinite manifestation. Whatever he had told, he's demonstrating. Pranamya Shirasa Devam. He bends down his head to Krishna in adoration and spoke with Kritanjalihi Abhashata. Pranamya Shirasa Devam. Kritanjali. With folded hands, he will now speak to Krishna. That we shall take in the next session, next class. And again, it continues actually very interesting. Krishna demonstrates his compassionate form also, and a ferocious, terrible form also. And there he tells, this is the form, and this is how I come as Kala. Kala means who sees the end, destruction. That also is divine only. Because the minute the creation starts, it comes with a time and with a space. Space means Desha Kala, they say, actually. We'll discuss more about this in the next session. So until now, Krishna has obliged Arjuna, and he has, what I should say, inspired devotees like you and I to get a glimpse of this Vishwarupa, isn't it? We all would like to see. Wouldn't you like to see when people like Oppenheimer, who are not, who are far off from Indian culture, but still so much attracted, and they themselves are a part of this and excited with, impressed with Vishwarupa, this chapter 11, and they are able to correlate with their scientific experiments. They are able to understand the reality. Then obviously we are conditioned in on this Indian land. We are conditioned with generations, so many generations, about Krishna's birth, his sport, his the Kurukshetra and all his teachings. Obviously, we will be uh, curious to know more, or rather, we will become curious in the times to come. With if we are consistently doing this kind of spiritual practice of attending sessions, listening, talking, discussing. So Krishna has obliged Arjuna uh, with the purpose of making it clear to the entire humanity that what I'm saying, it is truth. Believe me, for those who are inclined, not for everyone. Because always in the creation, there are asuras, there are devilish people, there are tamasic people, there are ignorant people. And we also have crossed that and come to one stage where some ray of spirituality has entered into our minds. So Krishna is helping, or what I should say, this will give more assurance. It will build up the conviction in people like you and I that whatever we are following is truth, and it has happened. When did this happen? Not long time back. It was just 5,000 years ago. There are a lot of evidences to show Krishna's existence on this earth. So there is no reason why we should not believe, because what Vyasa has written, it cannot be, people are not here to give false hopes. And there are people who have realized, even recently, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is there, Gautam Buddha is there, Swami Vivekananda is there. They're all people who have demonstrated the existence of divinity. So it makes it all the more realistic to believe that Vishwarupa was there and they have seen, and therefore it is documented. It is not a false thing, and Vishwarupa is there. And so Krishna has, if we contemplate as Jnana Margis, we can feel that oneness. Sadhguru describes his experience. Likewise, Vivekananda describes. So that also is there. But now here it is for people who are bhaktas to see him in that particular form. So that is for today. I'm sorry for all those disturbances. I was held up outside, and therefore I could not, there couldn't be continuity. Okay, any questions or any additions? I hope you're also as thrilled as Arjuna and I to hear about this. By listening to his this one description only, we are so thrilled. And you can imagine Arjuna's emotions, how he must have felt. That comes in the next session. Anybody wants to add anything? Anyone?
Ma'am,
Yeah, please.
Barbaric